discussion based on the questions that you have sent to the WhatsApp group. Before starting the Dhamma discussion, let us make our minds suitable for a Dhamma discussion. So, during this sansaric journey, but with the association of Buddha Sasanas, with the association with Buddha triple gems, doing meritorious deeds, we might have gathered immeasurable amounts of meritorious power. And all of those meritorious power may agglomerate together, creating the perfect background for everyone to understand Supreme Dhamma, completing all the 4 requirements that are needed to become Sotapanna, Kalyana Mita Sampatti, Saddhamma Savana, Dhammanu Dhamma Patipada, and Yoniso Manasikara. And all of those components come together, creating the perfect background for everyone to open up the eyes of wisdom and also to complete the rest of the pathway by completing the Arya Attangika Magga. So with that wish in your mind, accept this blessing with sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And also, we might have done various unethical, immoral things while we are going up and down in this sansari journey. So when we were in association with Buddha Sasanas, we might have done various immoral actions, unwholesome deeds. So if we have done anything bad towards the triple gems, let us acknowledge our faults. Let us promise ourselves that we are not going to do those kinds of wrong and immoral things again. And in Buddha Sasana, the forgiveness is acknowledging our faults and with the determination of not doing them again. So with that, accept this with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So we have got, I think, few questions, 2 or 3. I'll go in the order that I think these questions. The second one might take some time. The first one would not take that much of time. It was something referring to a sutta in the Digha Nikaya, Pasadika Sutta, and in that sutta it says, Swayankato attacha lokacha. That is one of the views or ideologies lay people would have. So, to give you a context, there are views or ideologies about this world. So, first of all, I'll read the question. May I have a question of verse about Miccha ditthi sayankato attacha lokacha, which referred in Pasadika Sutta. It is translated in English like the self and the cosmos are made by oneself. I want to know about why this verse is wrong view. I guess the view above has error or Miccha ditthi because of 2 reasons. One is the view supposed artha based on sasata ditthi, and the other one is we don't have to think about the word excessively because Buddha said we just need to remove the poisoned arrow in Chula Malukya Sutta. Hence, one just needs to contemplate own ayatana which one pollutes. Contemplating like above, I was not sure it is right or wrong, so I want to listen to this Thero's approach. So that is the question posted in the WhatsApp group. So back to the explanation. So there are views or ideologies about the past and the future. These viewpoints are made by basically logic. So they use their logic or their normal experiences. Sometimes they can be experiences because of opening up of higher abilities in the mind. However, because they cannot see 100%, they cannot see through and through without any hidden things. So that is a quality in Supreme Buddha's wisdom. So he does not have hidden parts when it comes to the knowledge, also understanding. So he can see all the corners and all the hidden parts. So what happens with normal or lay wisdom or lay supernormal abilities are, they cannot understand it fully. They see a picture, they see some part of it. It is like, let's say, for us, it is like a candle. So from a candle, we can see things, but it is very, very limited because it is through a candle. So the light is coming, the source of light is a candle. So we can only see maybe a room, the things in the room, the things around us in the vicinity, they can be seen. But let's say a person with a ability or higher ability, with maybe let's say if they have the ability to see the past lives, or if they have the ability to predict future, these things can be achieved even following a lay pathway. If you meditate and if you practice just like yogis and just like rishis, you can obtain some things if you are meant to, if you have the habit of doing that throughout samsara, maybe you can. But that is like a moonlight. So it is higher, the light is bigger than the candle. It is, let's say you are seeing a tree in the moonlight, but you cannot exactly say whether it is a tree or whether it is a person that look like a tree, or it is a tree that look like a person. Oh, you cannot differentiate because it is just the light of moon. So it is a dull light. Can see, but not 100%. Most of the time, because of that, you come into judgments based on what you understand, and it becomes false. But since it is out of something you experienced, that person would never drop that ideology, viewpoint. And that person would take that viewpoint to even to the death, even to the end of life. So the understanding of Supreme Buddha is like the analogy is the sun. So when the sun is up, you can see without any doubt. You know exactly whether it is a tree. You know that you can count the number of leaves in the tree. You know exactly the type of the tree. You know without doubt that it is not a person and it is a tree, because you are seeing it with broad daylight. So that is a understanding of Supreme Buddha. So he explains, so without that understanding, without that wisdom, people get into various kind of ideologies based on the questions they have when thinking about life. What are the problems that come when you think about life? Where did I come from? Where am I going to? What am I doing in this world? Those are the biggest questions one would get. And these are the almost always wrong questions to ask about you. Because the real question should be how to get rid of this. How am I going to get rid of this suffering? Suffering in this life, and the rishis and other people who have achieved various wisdoms say that there's a journey, sansaric journey, or a journey where you die and you born again and you die and born again, and there's a cycle like this. So if that's so this suffering is not going to end in this life. It is going to happen again and again. So how am I going to end this trap, end this suffering journey? So that should be the questions one should get. But instead, they get, where am I coming from? That answer would not change anything. Would not reduce your suffering. Yes, it would answer a burning question inside you, and that question would be solved. But even though the question is solved, you would have 1,001 another questions tomorrow. So the problem is not solved. The suffering is not going to end. You know the answer for the where for the question, where do you come from? But that did not do anything instead apart from adding something to your knowledge. It is the same for the other questions as well. So in these ideologies, when you are thinking, when that person, when those people were thinking about past, how the past happened, they came into various ideologies, and one of them is actually is the question or the it is the problem that has been pasted in the chat. So there were few other viewpoints as well. The word is sasata, life, word and life is sasata. It is not sasata. It is sasata and not sasata. It is likewise there were few other ideologies as well. And in this it says the Swayankato attacha lokacha. So atta means you, the person or the individual, and loka means the world. Swayankato means it was created by himself or the person, by the person. So the problem here is it is actually a part of Satata Ditthi as well. So in the first one, in the first four, if I go to the sutta and So the first one is sassato attacha lokacha. The second one is asassato attacha lokacha. Third one is sassatocha asasatocha attacha lokacha. The fourth one is never sassato na sassato attacha lokacha. And those are the first four types of ideologies. And the second set starts with sayankato attacha lokacha, and that is our question. Then the second one is parankato attacha lokacha. So in that viewpoint, the world is created by another one. And the third view is sayankatocha parakatocha attacha lokacha. So it was created by others as well as you. And the fourth one is it is without reason. It just came to be. That is the opposite of paticcasamuppada. So without, that is, in paticcasamuppada we talk about causes and effects, and they say there are no causes, it just came to life without any reason. So those are the four types of ideologies in that set. So in that set also, the problem, one of the problem here is you don't find vimukti, or you don't find the salvation, you don't find the blissful end, or you do not find nibbana by looking or by understanding these ideologies. This is a lost cause. You are looking for something that would not do anything meaningful. It is just like, let's say, there's a tree in your garden, and one of your friends come and ask with very enthusiasm, can you tell me how many leaves are there in this tree? And he is not joking. He wants to really know it. He wants to know the amount of leaves in this tree. So this is not a small tree. This is a very big tree. Maybe thousands and maybe 100,000 or maybe millions of leaves are there. So you would say, are you crazy? What is the point of knowing that? So that would be your answer. No, I am going to count it and I am going to somehow find out the number of leaves. And you would say this man is crazy. This person is crazy. If he actually started to do it, you would actually feel that this person is crazy and he needs some medicine. So likewise, there's a bigger problem. So why is that? Why are you acting that way? Why are you saying that this person is crazy? Because you know that this is useless. Knowing the number of leaves in that tree does not do anything meaningful. Just like answering this question, just like answering these people, the people who did not. I'm not referring to the question that has been posted. I'm referring to the question that whether there was how the past, the question about the past. So because of the question about the past, they created these ideologies. And since the question itself is actually meaningless, knowing the answer is meaningless. So the ideologies also become meaningless. There's no point. And they almost always become wrong because you don't have the capacity to understand that kind of a question, to understand the answer for that kind of a question. So here the parankato, so because of the parankato, that means the others created this. All the ideologies about aliens and the gods and everything comes. So in the modern world also, yes, there are these types of people in the form of scientists, in the form of scientific enthusiasts, and in the form of religious leaders, and there are, the form still exists. What Supreme Buddha explained in those suttas, they are still there, but the form is different. In old days, they were wearing robes and they were known as monks or the clergy. And today, they have a different approach, but the viewpoints are still here. So the other one is now with actually with the development of, I think, this quantum physics and other fields. Now they are coming to the understanding that the world is created by our minds. Yes, that would be understood. That is one step towards Buddhism, but they will be trapped in this viewpoint that Sayankato Attaja Lokaja. So I created this world. I created this world, and I created me. So that would be the understanding. So the problem is you don't get rid of that, the concept of self. You do not see the problem as very correctly explained by in the question. Do not understand the concept of self here. Even in this ideology, you are favoring and you are making that assumption, or you are making that hypothesis based on that there's an individual who is constant, or who is permanent, and that permanent self, that is the sasata ditthi, that permanent self is actually creating this world. So actually, how is this created? I'm not talking about the beginning. I'm talking about how this world is getting created, and a sansaric journey is seen. It is because of, as we know, causes and effects, paticcasamuppada. So because of raga, dosa, moha, actions are done. When these actions are done, karmic energy is generated, and this energy, just like we are throwing boomerangs to all the directions, and some boomerangs with higher power and some with lesser power. The nature of a boomerang is it comes back. Just like that, the creation of avijja, pacha sankara, that is the cycle that creates this energy, and this energy would flow back at the right time when the environment is suitable. There are 24 in the Patana, there are 24 causes or 24 things that, or parts that act together in synchronization to create this world. So when those act together, when karmic energy flows through the laws of nature, this world is coming back to life again. That is how this world, the mechanism of the world is occurring. That is the simple understanding. We are not going to talk about how the beginning occurred, and that is not explained, but we know the beginning occurred not with panya, but with avidya. That much we can know, because if it was started with panya, this world would not be there. That is why it says Pubbha Koti na Panyayati. So the the first, the beginning of this is not started with Panya, na Panyayati. Is one of the understanding that you can have. So it has definitely started with avidya. And we know the beginning is actually avidya pacha sankara. And the end is jara marana. That is what samsara is. And it starts again and again. It is like a circle. Since you cannot find the beginning of a circle, if you started running in a 400-meter track, you cannot find the you are running with the intention of finding the beginning of this circle or beginning of the track. You would not be able to find the beginning even if the samsara ends, because it is a circle. You are just running in circles. So however much you run, you cannot find a beginning. So the day you can find the beginning of a circle would be the day you will be able to understand what the beginning of this samsaric cycle. So I think that explains the answer to the question. So the most important thing here is, when you are referring to this Tripitaka, Pali Canon, try to focus on suttas, or try to go through the suttas that are relevant to your life, your understanding, your indriya, there's this indriya anatta, or the differentiation in indriya, the arya organs. So there are many suttas in the Pali Canon, and they were for different at those days when the Supreme Buddha was alive. And when we are reading some of these suttas, you might get touched, you might understand, and you would feel the priti sambojjhanga, you would feel the quality of Dhamma there. You would feel very happy while reading the sutta. And in some suttas, when you read them, you would not feel that way. You would feel like you are just reading some facts, some information. It happens because every sutta is not for you. Some will be understood, some will be very deeply understood, or the wisdom would start to develop while reading them. And in some, you would not, those suttas would not fit to your style. So you'd not feel that way. That is not a problem with the sutta, that is just the nature. That is how this works with the indriya anatta. So try to go through them, especially these kinds of questions, these kind of suttas were explained. So since you have already read the sutta, as you are asking the question, it is actually a sutta told to a monk based on the other parties or other types of Shramana or the clergy in that era who had different viewpoints. And when when those started to challenge the Dhamma, try to challenge Supreme Buddha, Supreme Dhamma and Supreme Sangha, this was preached by Supreme Buddha to answer those questions. So it is good to know for our understanding or for our knowledge, but if we are 100% focusing on attaining Nibbana and nothing else, we should focus on Raga Dosa Moha. So when we focus on Raga Dosa Moha, we would not be interested in some of the suttas, because do note that these suttas does not contain any Dhamma value. It is because it is not relevant to our Raga Dvesha Moha. The amount of or the kind of Raga Dvesha Moha in ourselves would decide the nature of suttas or nature of Dhamma discussions that we need, or the way we should think would be changed based on what type of Raga Dosa Moha we have. If the person is a Raga Charita, that person needs more Asubha meditation, or you should use more Dhamma, or you should you should try to contemplate on Asubha meditation. And if you are a dosa person, then you should move towards metta. So you should listen to more Dhamma discussions, read more suttas written towards the metta. And if it is raga dosa charita, or raga dosa person, it's the both. And there are 7 people: raga person, dvesa dosa person, moha person, raga dosa person, raga moha person, dosa moha person, and raga dosa moha person. So you know, you can understand what category you are in. So for the moha person, the nature of the moha person is the person cannot understand the raga dosa moha he is having, the defilements he is having. According to my understanding, he or she is just saying things, saying that this amount of raga dosa moha is lost, but the action, with the action, they are acting that way with the raga dosa moha, saying that they don't have raga dosa moha because they cannot see it. It's covered to themselves. Some have insight, so we can tell them, and they get to know it. But some, even with the pointing comes from another person, even if you point out that problem, that defilement in that other person, that person would not still say they have it. That is more. You don't understand that you have that defilement in you, even if it is pointed out. So you know what? Then if you are a moha person, then that is problematic, because it takes very long time for a moha person to get rid of that moha. The wisdom should grow gradually. So it says that raga is a alpasavadda. So alpasavadda means it is less potential, less potent when we are referring to the niraya or the four hells. The kamma is less potent, but the dosa is the potency is very high. So you would straight away go to the hell, not to the animal world, not to the preta visaya, but to the hell with dosa. The moha is also mahasavadda, so it is potency is high. So the other difference is raga is not going to go away easily. Dosa goes away easily. It can be tamed. It can be gotten rid of easily. But when it comes to moha, it is the hardest to get rid of. It takes much more time than dosa, than raga for the moha to be eliminated. So that is the nature of these three. So based on your characteristics, your personality types, these are the personality types in Arya Vinaya, Arya discipline. So you know the personality type of you, especially if you are raga or a dosa, person. So based on that, you would decide on what type of medicine that you have to swallow, that you have to take to get rid of this this ailment, this disease of samsara. So I hope that is it for I think that this explanation is enough for the question. If you have any other questions regarding this one, the question we discussed right now, you can post it in the chat, and we'll move on to the second one. And the second one, it says, is Mahayana Buddhism the teachings of Buddha, and is discernment a teaching of Buddha? Does discernment appear in the scriptures? And so I didn't know what this discernment is, so I asked, what is discernment? And the reply was separation. Dissemination and discernment of all perceived objects, such as me and you, my child and your child, red color, blue color, the object, and the and that object, etc. Because of this discernment, separation, raga, dosa, moha were created. In other words, discernment is hetu, raga, dosa, moha are phala. And that is the question posted. And the first one is actually Mahayana, whether Mahayana Buddhism is a teaching of Buddha. So in Buddhism, I'll answer all three questions in a single answer. So the first one is the most important thing that you need to understand when following the Arya Dhamma is why we are doing this. Why Supreme Buddha or why Mahabodhisattva did this? Why Mahabodhisattva wanted to find a solution? What is the problem? So if you want to find a solution for something, there should be a problem. So what was the problem? So why are we listening to Dhamma? So we also are searching for some solutions. So what is our problem? The problem the Mahabodhisattva had and the problem we have, is it the same? It should be the same, because otherwise we would not be able to get an answer from the answer he found. So what was the problem? The problem was suffering. Jara, Marana, the Vyadi were the problems. That is what he saw because before the Abhinikmana. So when he was living a lay life as a prince, he saw an old person, a dead body, and also a very ill person, and also at last a monk. So the monk gave the insight or the understanding for the Mahabodhisattva to live the lay life, but what led there was the first three, which is Jara, Vyadi, and Marana. So these three are actually, though we think that we are not ill right now, we are getting aged, but it is not prominent. We are just living a good life, and we'll die someday, but it is a someday and not today. So would be a normal person's understanding. But it is there in our lives right now, these three things, without our understanding. This moment dies. Because this moment dies, good, blissful moments and other and also very happy moments, they just get destroyed, or they just get vanished, leaving what? Leaving leaving a suffering mindset, and that is a vexatious mindset. So with that vexatious mindset, we are looking for that thing that just got destroyed. We are trying to achieve it somehow again, and we are starting a tug of war with the nature to keep those items that we find dear without getting changed, without getting subjected to Jara Marana. So we repair and we do various kinds of things. We do abhisankara, and we try to maintain these objects in good condition, the condition we like them to have. But however much we do that, that item would get destroyed, end up in Jara Marana. And the person also would end up in Jara Marana. Either one the one which comes first would break the association with the two objects, between the two objects. So if you die first, that breaks the association with the two objects, you and the object. And if the object get destroyed earlier, then that destruction also would break the association between the two objects, you and the object. So that is a tragic end. That is a tragedy, because you cannot have a good ending. A blissful ending would not be there. And that happens today, tomorrow, every day, and throughout this life. In small things, in bigger things, and the biggest thing is life. And that also will end up in the same way. So it is not just about the end of life. It is just not about the person getting old, getting ill, and dying alone in an empty room without anybody. No, that is not what this is about. That plays a big part in this, but It is not everything. It happens all the time, every day, but we cannot see it. But Mahabodhisattva could. So he knew that this world, that he needs to find a solution for this problem. And that is why he went and he found a solution. Since we are in the same boat as Mahabodhisattva, we also need to find a solution for this problem. So we are not looking for anything else, not looking for worldly explanation, how the world is created, how the world functions and everything. We don't want anything other than getting rid of this suffering journey. We just want to get rid of the part of the suffering that is there in our lives, in our day-to-day lives. So when we do that, the level of suffering would gradually reduce, and you would be able to finally eliminate all the sufferings. And that is the end, and that is blissful Nibbana. That is the completion of Nibbana. What you are achieving is actually Nibbana, and it would grow. The level of the Nibbana is actually the reduction of suffering. So when the suffering is zero, in other words, that is the completion of Nibbana. That is actually, you can say, that is Nibbana, the full definition of Nibbana. So that is what we are looking for. That is what Supreme or Mahabodhisattva was looking for, and he found it. And he, after becoming Supreme Buddha, he taught it to others, and others also found it. And we are also trying to find that. So you have to think. I don't know. I have never gone through Mahayana Buddhism. Maybe I might know some facts, some things, like they were trying to become bodhisattvas and trying to become. Everyone is trying to become Supreme Buddhas, and I don't know those are right or wrong. I just have heard from some people. That is all I know. I don't have much understanding, but I'll give you the things that are needed, or the tool that is needed for you to understand whether this is correct Dhamma or whether this is not correct. So if you have the tool, you can apply the tool and you can understand for yourself that whether this is right or whether this is wrong. So the problem is raga, dosa, moha. That is what actually creates the sansaric suffering. Or in other words, that is what creates suffering. Raga. Raga is a suffering because it is burning in nature. It is vexatious in nature. When there's raga, you want to achieve it, you want to save it, you want to preserve it, you want to have it for yourself. Those are all vexatious things that you want to do. And the problem is this item that you are you like you don't have any control over it based on expectation. You are expecting one thing, but you cannot control with the expectation. So you become disappointed. And it is a part of the nature, and it has its own course. So it gets deteriorated and end up in Jara Marana. Various things happen to it. It can break, it can be stolen, anything can happen to it. And it has its natural course. So you are trying to hang on to something that really you don't have any idea, or you don't have any 100% control. You cannot control it according to your wish, according to the expectation. So it becomes an item of dukkha, or item of suffering. And this item of suffering is all because of attachment. Because everything has this nature, anicca nature, dukkha nature, anatta nature. But you become a sufferer only when you get attached. So without knowing that, people get attached. People attach to these things. Why? Attachment is a result of a cause. What is the cause? The cause is value. So when you give value to something, you automatically get attached to it. So what we are doing is we are trying to see that there's no value, there's zero value. So why do we give value? We think that it would give blissful experiences, blissful results. The ending would be happy. That is why we give value. But that is a false understanding. And what we are trying to do here is we develop wisdom. We are going to reason out with wisdom and see that it is not really the case. These are not valuable because in the end, it will end up in suffering. Soka parideva dukkha domana supayasa sambhavanti. That is seen with wisdom. So if that is the result, why am I going to attach to these things? Dukkham bhayattena. So you see, you fear for these items. You are not going to get attached. You see these items as vexatious. So why am I going to get attached to vexatious items? Why am I going to get attached to items that gives soka parideva dukkha domana supayasa? So you fear these items when you see them as essenceless. So this is the basic understanding one should have to get rid of the cause or get rid of the cause that creates attachment. That is avidya or value. So when you see things as anicca, dukkha, and anatta, the value is reduced to zero at the end. And when the value is zero, the attachment is zero, because without value you would not get attached. When the attachment is zero, that is dukkha samudaya jnana. You understand with dukkha samudaya jnana that the tanha is the problem and you have to get rid of tanha with dukkha nirodha jnana, and you are doing that. And when the dukkha or the tanha is nirodha or tanha is eliminated fully, that is the end of suffering. And that is simply the understanding or the simply everything Supreme Buddha has taught. The most that is not everything, but the core understanding of Buddhism. So what happens when Buddhism is actually, it's tricky. It's not easy to understand. That is why after becoming enlightened, Supreme Buddha thought, how am I going to explain this very deep but very blissful and very you cannot understand with logic, but only a wise person would be able to understand this Dhamma. And how am I going to explain this kind of a very sophisticated but very simple in the same time, at the same time, a kind of a Dhamma or a doctrine to people? They would never understand. And Supreme Buddha, it says that his mind started getting his mind started rejecting. It says like that, the rejecting Dhamma explanations. That means discourses to others. And at that point, Mahabrahma, this I think is the Sahampati Brahma or Gatikara Brahma, one of those two came and invited him to do Dhamma discussions. So that is the thing. So with time, since this is very fine, it can go wrong anywhere. So it is that kind of a Dhamma. You have to have the perfect understanding to explain, as well as to um, dig deeper in this Arya. So when with time, what happens is, so when this goes from mouth to ear, so you are listening, or when somebody is talking or explaining, somebody listens, and the one who is listening is actually taking these information with his own pair of glasses. It's like if you are wearing a tinted glass, and if you are looking at the world, let's say it's blue tinted, or tint is blue, so you are seeing the world as blue, and everything, although the everything is not blue, everything is different, multicolored, you are seeing it as blue. Likewise, when you are listening to something, you get what you understand, and when you get that, you explain it to another person with the blue, since you have taken the information with the blue tinted glasses, you are explaining now a blue tinted version of that story. So the other person might be wearing red tinted glasses, and that person understands something else. So this happens with time, and with this, the various kinds of ideologies, various kinds of understandings, and various kinds of Mahayana, maybe other forms of Mahayana, where the Nibbana is not the primary goal. That now, before Mahayana Thero, we can say it's the same here. Here in Sri Lanka also, it was the same story. We never was, everybody was not looking for Nibbana. They were just doing various kinds of meritorious deeds with the hope of meeting Maitri Buddha. So, so that is not Buddha Sasana. That is something else. That is maybe the lowest part of Buddha Sasana, where somebody is aligning with it, just trying to someday complete the Arya Dhamma. But the core is just gone, was not here. We did not know how to attain Nibbana. We did not know what is the pathway. We did not know anicca dukkha anatta. We knew anitya dukkha anatma, and that did not explain, or that did not complete the pieces of the puzzle, making the big picture. So everything is not aligned very well. So it is very hard to understand, and you don't know what to do with that kind of explanation. You are just empty. You are going empty-handed with after the discourse. You don't know what to do. So that was the story. So if that was the story for Theravada Buddhism as well, I think, I don't know, because I have never learned about it. I think it should be the story for Mahayana Buddhism as well, because it got deviated earlier on from this the Pali canon and the Theravada tradition, and it divided, and it got changed, and various kinds of ideologies got in, because what happens with time is, when questions are asked from monks by the devotees and other monks, if you are a higher positioned monk, if you are a higher person in the ladder, you have to say something. You cannot say, I don't know anything. I don't know how to attain Nibbana. I don't know what Supreme Buddha said. Cannot say that. So you have to say something. And the things that you say become the truth, because since you are in the higher position, you are being believed, and that becomes the reality. Something wrong becomes the reality. And this goes on for generations, since that is actually making making a corrupted version of Buddhism, which is, I'm not saying it is the story for Mahayana, but it was the story here. So I don't know, it could be the story there as well. So after that, understanding that, you have to now, whatever you hear from whichever person, whoever person, you have to have your basics. You have to know, why am I listening to this? To get end the suffering, to end raga dvesha moha. Does this discourse, does this technique, does this methodology actually reduce raga dosa moha? Or can I use this method to reduce raga dosa moha? Can you feel it with your wisdom that it is a possible way, possible pathway to reduce raga dosa moha? Or is it just a theory? Maybe logic is one thing, wisdom is one thing. Logically, one can say, yes, elimination of raga dosa moha is nibbana. So just go home, and when a raga chitta or a raga mindset occurs, just do not do it. Just do not create that mindset. You just eliminate it, would be said. So for dosa and moha also, they would say the same thing, but they do not define what is raga. You just have a broad idea. Dosa also, you just have, when you get angry, you just don't get angry. You just think of something else. Just count to 100, and from 100 backwards to 1. So when you get raga, you do the same thing. You go and hide in the closet. You just forgot about thinking it. And when you get moha, you just do, I don't know what can be said for moha, but for raga and dosa, that could be it. So logically it is right. So if you want to get rid of raga dosa moha, if that is practiced for some time, then the person would ask, yes, the raga should go down, because you are not creating raga now or dosa now. But is it actually plausible? Can you do it in a practical situation? Or is there a better way, which you can understand with wisdom? You have to think. You have to think, what is the better way? What is the easiest way? No, you are not trying to just have a explanation how an arihat is, how a person or a person who has ended the journey is, and try to copy that person. That is not what you are going to do. Because if you try to copy a person who has already ended the journey, then that is not with wisdom. What you are doing is not with wisdom. You are not doing it with wisdom. Because if you are doing it with wisdom, you have already achieved there. You have already, then you can say, I have become an arihat, because you have achieved wisdom. So when you don't have the wisdom, you are going with logic and other lay weapons. So lay things in your mind. So you use the logic, you use the other reasoning techniques and other things and all the knowledge you have with them, and you are making a mix with this and creating a idea that whether this is right, and you are trying to copy the Arihat. So it cannot be done. If it can be done, there would not be four phalas as Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arihat. There would be only one phala, Arihat, because the understanding itself is the end. But that is not the case. You just should have the understanding, or the eyes of wisdom should be opened. After that, you have a pathway to follow. You have to practice. You have to get rid of wrong kaya kamma, vachi kamma, and mano kamma. So the actions, words, and thoughts should be purified, because it is already dirty. It is like a dirty cloth. It's a black in color. The white cloth is black in color because of dirt. So you have something to do, and that is cleaning the cloth. So you put the detergent, you clean the cloth, and you rinse it. You wash the cloth and rinse it, and then you see you look at the cloth. Now the darkness is less. Now it's getting better. So you do it again and again and again until the cloth is white. So the chitta is devoid of raga, dosa, moha. So then you would be able to understand how an arihat works. So let's say there are two people, both of them are blind, and one is trying to explain the elephant that is just near them to the other blind person. Can you do it? Can one blind person explain the nature of an elephant to the other blind person? So let's say Sotapanna level is a blind person when comparing with the Arihat level. So you are a blind person. So Arihat nature is the elephant. So you are explaining, the blind person is explaining the Arihat nature to another blind person. Arihat nature means how Arihat thinks and how Arihat works. So after that person, the blind person, he knows he has gone to the doctor. Doctor is the Supreme Buddha or a disciple of him, and he has listened to the doctor's advice, and he has got the medicines, and he is not just waiting with the medicine, he is using the medicine, and day by day his blindness is getting cured, and at the end he become a person who can see. Now he sees the elephant. Now that Arihat who sees the Arihat nature, or that person who can see the elephant right now because his blindness is cured, would that person explain? Will that person explain the nature of the elephant to the blind person? No. He would say, you also go and get this medicine and use this medicine properly and get this blindness cured, and you would be able to see the elephant for yourself. There's no other way, because you can see the elephant right now, but can you explain it to a blind person? He would just understand in his own way something different, because he does not have that data to understand such a thing. So that is why there's a pathway. So you follow the pathway as explained with the wisdom. You're not doing it because it is said in the book, or it is said by someone, you are just reasoning out with your wisdom and trying to understand what is what, how it is done, how the raga is going to reduce with this, how the dosa is going to reduce with this, and moha is going to reduce with this. And I am now following that because I have the understanding. You are thinking in this way. Because I have the understanding. I am following this. I have the wisdom that this should be correct. It is very methodical and it is understandable. So I am following this. And after some time, you get the result. It won't take long. Even in few minutes, you would be able to see. Sometimes you would be able to see the results. After following it for a few months, you would be able to see the results. And you would understand, you would know that the results are coming and it is not going down but developing day by day. And if this is followed up until the end, this would eliminate all the raga dosa moha and eliminating all problems. That would be your understanding at the end. So I am saying you just listen to anything, any Dhamma discourse. You're not going to reject it based on the person who is preaching. You're not going to accept it based on the person who is preaching. You're just put it to the sutta, put it to the Dhamma, and put it to the Vinaya. That is what has been explained by Supreme Buddha. What is the sutta? That is the Four Noble Truths. That is the sutta. Or Chattari Ariya Sachani is the sutta. What is the Dhamma? Dhamma is the Paticcasamuppada. You apply it to the Paticcasamuppada and see whether it fits. And what is the Vinaya? Vinaya is the Raga Vinaya, Dosa Vinaya, and Moha Vinaya. Raga Vinaya is you should see the reduction in raga, reduction in dosa, and reduction in moha. If it does not reduce or if it increases, that is not the path. That is not something Supreme Buddha has taught. That is a Mara Dhamma, not a Arya Dhamma. So that is how you decide. That is the easiest way. So you don't get tricked or you don't get lost in the Arya pathway. If you have the understanding, you would never get lost. You temporarily go in other ways, but you definitely come back to the right track because you have the understanding. You just get lost sometimes without being able to judge this whether this is right or wrong, and maybe you'd follow that pathway for some time, and when the raga and dosa and moha does not go away, you'd come back to the original one because you have seen the principles, you have seen the basics. You cannot be fooled, you cannot be tricked. If you have seen it, you are safe, but it is better to be cautious of what anybody would say, whether it is a trusted person, whether it is a new person, a stranger. You just apply it to the sutta, dhamma, and vinaya and see whether it fits. If it fits, maybe it is right. And if you are doubtful, ask from other kalyana mittas. Look for other kalyana mittas, and they would see it in different ways, and they would give a better answer. And that is how kalyana mitta sampatti, or the association with noble friends, would help our Arya development as well. So that is the answer I wanted to give to the second question. If you have any questions regarding these two, what we have already discussed, you can put it into the chat. I hope you understand what we have discussed.
Thank you very much, Thero, for your explanations. And as you suggested, if there are any clarifications on either the first or the second questions, please feel free to send it to us now so that we can further clarify it. Thero, maybe we can give a minute, and if not, you can afterwards, maybe we move on to any other questions.
Yeah, I think those were the questions that were sent. Those were everything.
Okay.
And we have to get some new questions you might be having today, or we have decided what to do.
We have received, I think, okay, there's a response to what you mentioned, Thero.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that is better in one. That is right. What you have said is right in. It is partially right, but and partially wrong. We can say, because partially right, because what is said by people, because in suttas it says the Dhamma is actually the main basic concepts of Dhamma can only be taught by a Supreme Buddha. So none other can create Dhamma. Even the great Sariputta cannot create new Dhamma. That means Dhamma pariyayas cannot be created or cannot be given by other Theros. It can be done only by Supreme Buddha. But after it was given the basics, it is said Uddesa. After the Uddesa was given, a great Arihat with Sivpilisimbhya or Artha Dhamma Nirukti Patibhana wisdoms can explain it with more examples and everything. It can be explained very well without any shortcoming. After it was explained, after the first section, first things were explained. So the basics were explained. Uddesa, after Uddesa, Niddesa, Patiniddesa can be done by an Arhat. Or by as even a Sotapanna with those knowledges, those wisdoms. So that is why I said it is partially correct. And the other thing is, we are reading something written. And of course, we are having our own glasses. It can be blue tinted, red tinted. It can be correctly tinted as well. Because if you have the Samma Ditthi, the glasses of Samma Ditthi, the tint is correct. And what you are seeing is absolutely right. But if you don't have the Samma Ditthi and you have something else, some other view, maybe Laukika Sammaditthi or other viewpoint, then that is the tint of your glasses. And you are reading the suttas with those glasses. And the understanding would be different from what an Arya would understand. So it is helpful. Kalyana Mitta, association with Kalyana Mitta is very helpful. But after understanding or after opening up the eyes of wisdom, after you are certain that you have got this Dhamma, you have the grasp of this Dhamma, then you can always go back and search or go back and read the suttas and understand based on these suttas. You can do it right now as well. And if you get doubtful, it should always it is this suttas or Pali canon is like a pieces of a puzzle. So they are not in order. The big picture is not seen because suttas are in different places. But if you get the idea what you are going to create, let's say you have these pieces, and you get to this understanding, or Kalyanamitta says that it is a picture. After the picture is created, it is a let's say a elephant. After you create the puzzle, you will get an elephant. So if that is said before, and then you read the Tripitaka, or then you read the Pali Canon, you know the pieces, and you know the exact place that that piece would be fitting in. Otherwise, you don't know what you are going to, what it created, what these pieces are going to create. So you are clueless of what to do with what piece. But when you know what is the end result, you have an understanding where you are going. You just have to put that guidance in that uh, in the nature, or in that context of the Arya Dhamma. So if you can put it in that context with the real explanation, real understanding, then it would do a better. It would give out a better result. Otherwise, it can be problematic for if we say that everybody should do this, because not everybody is able to decipher what is said, what is written in the Pali Canon. So it is better to have guidance when doing that. I want to clear up the confusion. I haven't read all the scriptures, but so far I haven't seen anything like this in scriptures. Separation, dissemination, and discernment of existence that started a very, very long time ago. The cause of Ragadosa Moha. No, not really. I have also not seen that in the Tripitaka. No, because if it was a mainstream thing, if it was a something very core knowledge, core understanding, it would be, you would find it everywhere, because we are trying to understand the easiest way, not the hardest way. So easiest way is there in the, so if you logically think, what sutta which was discussed by Supreme Buddha gave highest results. Highest results was given by Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. True that only one person, only one human could attain Sotapanna Phala, but thousands and thousands of Devas and Brahmas attained Nibbana with that Sutta. If somebody has let's say we will go through an example. So if somebody has understood something new thing, and if you are telling that to your friend, you just explain the easiest way and explain the core things, most important things, not very, you would not use a very hard and very very different, or very questionable approach. You would just go straight forward to the point, just like in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So in that sutta, Supreme Buddha explains straight to the point what he achieved, Tiparivattan Dvadasakara. So before understanding this Tiparivata, which is of 12 versions or 12 natures, he did not claimed Supreme Buddha. After only he achieved this, he claimed Supreme Buddha. And after achieving this, he experienced his understanding as dukkha jnanam, dukkha samudaya jnanam, dukkha nirodha jnanam, and dukkha nirodha gamini patipadaya jnanam. And that is the main explanation. And after that, the explanation of that, which is Satcha Vibhanga Sutta, that done by this Mahasariputta Thero. And that is also the next highest amount of the results or the individuals who attained Nibbana were from that sutta. The thousands and thousands of Devas and Brahmans who got enlightened with that sutta as well. Because that is the easiest, that is the core knowledge as well, core understanding that you have to have. So we are also looking for the easiest way. We are looking for the simplest way. So simplest way is not something very hidden in that 57 books of, I don't know whether you might not get 57 books, it maybe in Sinhalese version, but we have 57 books of Tripitaka when we are using it. There we have 57 books. So if you have 57 books, that much of books, and the most easiest methodology is hidden somewhere in maybe in the 5th book, in the 4th page, only few sentences. I don't think that writing of Tripitaka is successful, because it cannot be that way, because it was done by Arihat Theros with Artha Dhamma Nirukti Patibhana wisdoms. They knew what to understand, they knew what to know, and this understanding should be completed easily, because it is not something easy to understand. It is a very rare thing, so they are not going to make it even more harder. So they made it easier, and the most important things were written. Unnecessary things also were not by-hearted or written in the Tripitaka. So based on this logic, if you approach to the Tripitaka, Pali Canon, you understand that when you read it, when you read few books, you get the understanding what this is all about, because they are like recipes. They are like prescriptions for a disease. So various people come with various diseases. One comes with the raga disease, some with a more prominent raga disease, and one comes with more prominent dosa disease, and one comes with more prominent moha disease. And the Supreme Buddha, who is the doctor, gives various prescriptions for various people based on their indriya anatta, differentiation of the Arya organs. So when they do that, when he does that, these individuals, after getting the medicine, they just do not throw away the prescription. They go and actually get the medicine, and they actually drink the medicine or apply the medicine, and they get cured. And these hundreds and thousands of prescriptions are there in the Pali Canon. So when we read few of those prescriptions, we understand the flow, we understand the technique that the Supreme Buddha has used. So that should be enough to decide whether this is the correct technique or an incorrect technique. You just don't need to go to the book. You just should use your wisdom, use your heart, and think whether this thinking pattern is actually possible, whether this thinking pattern is actually not logically, but practically, can you do it? And you are comparing it with already understood pattern. The already understood pattern, whether it is the what you are learning right now is more advanced than what you already have. You're comparing the two. Then you would understand what you are already having is very practical, is a methodical approach, is very easy to follow. You just have to start from one end and just practice and practice and practice and end. And you have to compare it with the other one you just have got received from somewhere. Maybe it is right, maybe it is wrong. Just not just going to assumptions. You are just trying to reason out with your wisdom. Apply it to Sutta, Dhamma, and Vinaya to try. You see whether it reduces Raga Dosa Moha or increases Raga Dosa Moha and does nothing to Raga Dosa Moha. And if your test passes this, if this new methodology passes your test, then you can apply it and see whether it works. That is the easiest way to answer this type of a question.
There is another question that has
Yes.
been.
Yes, I'm reading it. I understand a little bit that anicca dukkha anatta nature of the world, but inertia of the mind always seem to forget it. Any good advice? Yes. Now that is always a problem with the developing mind. So it happens. The thing is, when you have sammaditthi, when you know the anicca dukkha anatta nature, I would say how this develops. You just you should, and that is why it is easier for us to attain nibbana in this world. In this world means in the human world, because we get positive, blissful experiences as well as negative, bad experiences. So when the life is normal, when you are having now I am talking about a person who has already understood anicca dukkha anatta. You have listened to anicca dukkha anatta and you understand it is that it is correct, and you have this mindset that you should somehow attain nibbana and end this sansaric journey. You have that much of understanding, and now you are entering the world. Now you are entering the society, and you are having your daily routine, daily life, and you are having a normal, neutral day, which has no ups and no downs. And you just forget about anicca dukkha anatta at that point. And you are just having your day. And if it is a happy day, blissful day, you'd anyway forget about anicca dukkha anatta. And you just roam around being happy, not thinking about the adinam of this world. You are just you are just having a good time. But all of a sudden, let's say, while you are driving, you just met with a minor accident, maybe with a stopped vehicle, or another dog or something, or hits your vehicle, and at that point, that is no more blissful, no more neutral. Now you are experiencing you are having a bad experience. At that point, anicca dukkha anatta would come to your mind out of nowhere. And you would start thinking of anicca, dukkha, and anatta, and this world is empty, and this world is
intermittent signal. So when you were speaking your first few words, while I could understand it was dragging, but your second half of the words were clear. So I think it will be a bit intermittent in terms of quality. It will drop from time to time from what I can feel.
Yes. So what can we do about it? I can change the place. Let's see whether I can find a place where there's more signal.
Okay. So everyone will just give a little time. As you all know, Dhammadassi Thero resides in the hill country, a bit more of a place more suitable for meditation, and it's a bit, how do you say, much closer to nature. So sometimes we have some power disruptions and other things. So kindly bear with us, and hopefully we might be able to pick it up and continue. Thank you very much.
I think this place is better.
Thero, it can be, what you're saying can be understood. So maybe we can try and continue and see how it goes from there.
Okay. So, so we were saying that when in the initial stages of this understanding, when you have a better day, when your day is neutral, or when your day is blissful, you just don't remember. You don't get this idea about anicca, dukkha, anatta to your mind. Just not cross your mind. But something bad happens. Something like let's say, for example, a minor accident or something happened, or somebody scolded you, or you just fell, or something happened. So at those points, you just started remembering about anicca, dukkha, anatta, the negative nature of this world. Actually, the reality of the world is seen at that point. I think your experience also aligns with this explanation. So what happens is, with time, when your understanding develops, you tend to understand more about that these blissful days or happier days, the attachment to those happier days itself is the reason for you to cry more, become sad, and that means the sadness is directly proportional to the attachment you are having with those objects, or the sorrow, lamentation, pain, suffering, everything is proportional to the attachment. And this attachment is what makes your day happier. If you are encountering more things that you are attached to, you become more happy. That is how the world works. So if you have your favorite food item, you are happier because you are attached to this favorite. Because it's favorite, you are anyway attached to this favorite item. And when you are attached to this favorite food item, and when you are having it, you are having more fun, because the vexation is more, higher vexation is treated, creating a more blissful or delusional happiness. And the thing is, when it goes wrong, because the worldly things are of anicca, dukkha, and anatta nature, when the things go wrong, the suffering is also the same. Your suffering, the amount of suffering that you are experiencing is proportional to the attachment that you are having. So at that, when the moment where the changes to a suffering experience, then you are thinking about anicca, dukkha, anatta. So later what would happen is,
you'd understand that this attachment, that taking these things as blissful itself is the problem I am having. Because if I take, because after few experiences, let's say you are having a favorite food item, and this food item, you are experiencing it, and you are very happy to have it. You are having a blissful experience with it, and somehow it is, you get disappointed because maybe the shop or the restaurant is closed, or maybe you are somehow, you could not get that food item that day, and the food is all uh, uh, eaten by the family members, and they have left nothing for you, and these things would make your mind very upset. And and at that point you would remember about anicca, dukkha, and anatta, and you think that I have to find a solution for this. Every day this happens. Every day I am unhappy about this food item. Because of this food item, I am experiencing lot of sorrow and pain. I have to find a solution. It is not this thinking the world as anicca, dukkha, anatta after the suffering experience has already occurred is not going to reduce my suffering. That would be your understanding. And you would, after understanding that, you would understand furthermore that attachment to this food item itself is the reason. So I should not become that much happy. So I should become fear. That means dukkham bhayattena comes here. So you are fear of the suffering, and you are seeing the cause of suffering with wisdom, that attaching to these kinds of food items creates a lot of suffering experiences in the end. Because when the things go wrong, since things are not controllable, since these worldly things are out of your control, so your expectation becomes a disappointment at the end, and you suffer. So after understanding, so when the wisdom develops, you would understand that attaching to the blissful things itself is the problem. So in happier days, you would get fearful to experience this this delusional happiness. When the delusional happiness comes, you would straight away you would start to remember anicca, dukkha, anatta. Don't get attached to these things that much, because if you get attached, you would suffer in in big ways. That would be your conclusion, and you would not get attached to those things that much. I would just use them for my um, for my comfort, for the for better life, for a better lifestyle. I would just use them, but I would not get attached to these things that much, because if I get attached, the end result would be bad. That comes with experience. So when the things go wrong several times, you would understand that applying anicca, dukkha, anatta after the things go wrong would not do anything good, would not would not be a solution for your problem. Instead, you would start to realize that creating the cause of suffering, which is attachment, before the things go wrong itself is where the things actually go wrong. So actually things go wrong when the attachment occurs, not when the things go when the bad experience comes. The reason or the cause for bad experience is actually where you get attached. So when you experience a blissful or a delusional blissful experience out of these worldly items, you would start to become fearful. uh, Fearful in the sense, not a shivering fear. It is fear that comes with wisdom that these items would somehow drag me down, or put me down, and make or give suffering experiences to me. So with that understanding, you would not get attached. So that would be the development. And with that development, you would now, it is not that you are going to start, the characteristic of anicca, dukkha, and anatta comes to your mind all the time. It comes to your mind when necessary. The thing is, initially it comes when things go wrong. But as your mind develops, as your wisdom develops, you would start to see that things, the pain and suffering comes when things go wrong, is actually a result of attachment. And I am attached because I see these things as blissful, and actually I should be fearful for these items because I see them as blissful and I get attached, and that is the reason for suffering, which already has got created. So because of that, you think, so you get rid of these blissful experiences as well. So that is how your the pool of experiences, sorrowful and blissful, becomes neutral at the end. So you now you are attached to neutral experiences. That is what happens in Chaturtha Dhyana as well. In the Chaturtha Dhyana, it is Upeksha Ekagrata. So Upeksha Ekagrata, when Upeksha Ekagrata is there, it is neutral. So you are attached to the neutral nature. So you have to get rid of that as well. So that is the next level. That is actually ended in Arihat Magga, until Arihat Pada. So we can go up until Anagami state with these two, and after that you have to see anatta. You have to, from the beginning, you have to see the neutral nature also as anicca, dukkha, anatta, but it starts impact. It helps a lot in the Arihat Magga. So in the Arihat Magga, you are actually, your whole focus is towards seeing the upekha nature as anicca, dukkha, and anatta, and then only the attachment to blissful, neutral, and suffering, everything would be gone, and the whole the reason for suffering would be eliminated. So I think that explanation helped you to your problem.
Thank you very much, Thero, and also your audibility was quite good, so there was no disruptions. And as you mentioned, I think it was very good that you kind of explained and shared the experience that you would get, so everyone, we all can sort of relate and see where we are and see if it's working, etc. So thank you very much, Thero. Thero, should we, I mean, if there are any questions from the audience, please share. If not, we would end the session with a short anumodana, but we will give you some time if you have any further questions to ask. Seeing some, no questions as of yet. Thero, any thoughts on your end? And also, I think for the අපේ හැමදෙර බැටරි එක හොඳ වෙයි නේද ඔබ වහන්සේට ඊළඟ
පුළුවන් එහෙම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ.
එහෙනම් අපේ හැමදෙර අපි අනුමෝදනාවකින් අවසන් කරමුද? ඒකටත් මාරු වෙන්න තියෙන නිසා.
ඔව් හොඳයි.
So since there are no questions, we will now move on to the anumodana. I kind of respectfully invite Dhammadassi Thero to do a short anumodana, so and end the session for the day. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So today we discuss answers for the questions that you have posted on the WhatsApp chat, and through this discussion we did not discuss anything else but the anicca, dukkha, anatta nature of the world. So that is the highest meritorious deed that one can do in this world. So we have been doing that for almost 2 hours, and the amount of with the meritorious power that was generated today, may everyone get the perfect background to understand the Arya Dhamma, eliminating all the Nivarana, Kamachanda, Vyapada, Dinamidda, Uddhacca, Ukucca, Vicikicca, and eliminating all the Avarana, Anavitikamavarana, Kamavarana, and Kleshavarana, and everything, and creating the perfect background with Ayusa, Vanna, Sapa, Bala, and Patibhana, and Jnana. With everything, may you get the perfect background to open up the eyes of wisdom and also to complete the rest of the pathway, attaining the Arihat state, ending this sansaric journey with Nibbana. Accept this blessing with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And also, let us, in this special occasion, let us remind ourselves about all the relations, the diseased relations that we have during this sansaric journey, the ones who have helped us throughout thick and thin, and also the ones who helped us during the sansaric journey, teachers, parents, the ones who have given us jobs, and the ones who have constructed our homes and workplaces, and also roads and everything, and also the ones who are around us helping us, like our spouses, children, and relations, neighbors, and everything, and also the ones who are hurted and harmed by our actions because out of avidya we have done various unethical deeds, various immoral things towards the worldly beings, and let us remind all of them as well, and acknowledging our faults with the promise, with the determination that we are not going to do those kinds of things again. We are going to transfer these meritorious deeds to them with metta and kindness as well, and also the deities in the 6 realms of gods and 20 planes of Brahma, all the sentient beings in the universe as well. Let us remind all of those sentient beings and transfer this meritorious power to them wherever they are in this universe. May they become happy about these meritorious deeds, about these Dhamma discussions. May they, if they are in miserable places, may they refrain from doing sinful acts. May they replace those sinful acts with meritorious deeds, and may they lead happy lives, ultimately understanding the reality of the world, attaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Transfer this meritorious power to them with metta and kindness with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So with that, we'll end the session with a Pali stanza, which explains this. The explanation is, you may receive life, comfort, refreshness, and power, and also the wisdom with the worshipping of the triple gems, and especially the worshipping of Arya qualities. Abhivadana Sirisa Niccang Vaddhapachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddanti Ayuvanno Sukham Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sabda Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti, and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Venerable Thero, for your valuable Dhamma discussion. And with that, we end today's discussion. Wish everyone, Theruvan Saranam, may the triple gem bless you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.